Sure.
Yeah. Hey, be quiet. You're starting yourself.
And we prepare to go here as we start the ABA round robin in Lexington, South Carolina. I'm Griffin Leonard here with you for varsity action between the Kingsmen and the Blacksmiths of P27. First pitch of the ball game is just outside, thrown by the left-hander Scott Graham. Graham wears the number 40 for the Blacksmiths, wearing the white uniforms with the red numbers and the red hats. Katie McNeil, the leadoff man for the Kingsmen, and the 1-0 pitch is just high of the zone. A couple of close misses for Scott Graham against the Kingsmen center fielder. Katie McNeil missed the final game, and actually the final two games of the Kingsmen's week out against Eastern Carolina Academy last week. He takes a 2-0 strike on the outside corner to make it 2-1. McNeil is back to full health, and he is back in the leadoff spot. The Kingsmen can use him as they start 3 games in 3 days here in Lexington. 2-1. Outside for ball 3. McNeil, Daniel, and Clark, the first 3 hitters for the gold and black, and the black jerseys today for the Kingsmen white pants. McNeil trying to get on to start this game. It's 3-1, and it's a walk. Scott Graham throws 4 balls in 5 pitches to start off this evening single game for the Kingsmen. McNeil walks aboard, and here is Logan Daniel. Game starting just shy of McNeil last week against ECA. As I mentioned, missed the final couple of games of that series. As I mentioned, missed the final couple of games of that series. And now he's picked off. They go to second. The throw's in the dirt, and I think it hit McNeil. He slides in. Not the ideal way for McNeil to go first to second base, but he is in there. The errant throw by Sanchez, costing P27 the pickoff play on the Kingsmen's fastest base runner. So the Kingsmen have a man in scoring position here, top 1. If you're just joining us, you haven't missed a whole lot. Leadoff man on second, nobody out, and now Daniel takes ball 2 just off the plate. The only game on the schedule today for the Kingsmen at the varsity level. They'll have 3 games tomorrow in between the 2 teams. It's going to be a busy one. 2-1. Low and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. If you can pick up the Star Spangled Banner in the background, it's not being played here. It's being played across the way at the Lexington County Stadium, traditional home of P27 and the second ballpark being used in this tournament. Prospect team will play 2 of its 3 games over there. Outside corner, 3 balls and 2 strikes. This game continues despite the anthem in the background. It's Daniel, then Clark, then Christian Burney. (3-2). McNeil off to third. Line drive down the right field line. It hooks foul. And as the final few notes from Francis Scott Key play over the loudspeakers, it's time for another payoff to Logan Daniel. Kingsman shortstop in the 2-hole, batted leadoff in the Kingsmen's final varsity game last week in Goldsboro. 3-2. And another ground ball. That one off of the hitter. So another foul keeps it at 3-2. Infield for P27 today, it's Eric Aristi, then Bryce Munchell, Seth Eckroth, and Isaac Sanchez in the infield, with Matthias Frazier doing the catching. Receiving the pitches from the left-handed starter, Scott Graham. Daniel making Graham fight early on in this ball game. It is 3-2. And another foul ball. This one hooks over the short backstop right-hand side. There's a 2-tiered backstop here at the ballpark, but it cuts off a little shy of honestly probably where it should. The seats that are elevated on either side of home plate are a bit exposed to line drive foul balls. 3-2, and another walk. Daniel makes it a long plate appearance and reaches first with the free pass, but he certainly had to earn it. Harris Clark has men on second and first, nobody out in the top of the first. Full order for the Kingsmen: McNeil, Daniel Clark, then Bernie, Wynant, Catron, De La Cruz, Deacon Curtis, and Eli Thomas. 9 in the order, with Angel Rari, the Dominican, on the mound for the KBA. First pitch to Harris Clark, and he rips it. Third base side, it's down the line. The left fielder, Perez, cuts it off. McNeil gets the wave. Daniel is now having to scramble back to second. The tag is on him, and he's out, slapping second base in frustration. He tried to take an extra bag when the throw to third was slightly offline, but he paid the price. It's an RBI single for Harris Clark. McNeil comes around to make it 1-0. Daniel out at second base, a little over-aggressive. So it's a man on first with 1 out for Christian Bernie. Kingsmen will certainly take this start. They'll need a little bit more. Time called by Christian Bernie. Scott Graham working out of the stretch. Clark, a conservative lead at first base. Graham to the plate, outside with the fastball. The Kingsmen prospect team in attendance to support their fellow Kingsmen. You can see a couple of them, I think, on the corner of your screen. Micah Irving, you can see the back of his head there in the bottom left. He is slated to pitch in one of the games tomorrow. They throw over to first to check on Harris Clark. Harris Clark up to the 3 spot. He has spent so much of this season in the bottom half of the order around the 7 hole as Bernie takes ball 2. Clark has been in the 7 spot, the 8 spot of the order, was hitting in the low 100s until about 2 weeks ago. He has been red hot, finding barrel after barrel. He has finally woken that bat up, and he has 3 home runs in the last 2 weeks. 2-0. In the dirt, Clark running. Bare hands by Frazier. No throw to second. The wild pitch puts a man in scoring position, and it is 3-0 for Christian Bernie. Kingsmen have had success against the Blacksmiths this season, but P27 has gotten a couple games off of Coach Preston Hudak's varsity team. That's an outside strike to make it 3-1. Just 3 games remaining in the regular season, so crucial for seeding, with Atlanta and Lake Point just a few weeks away. Pop up on the 3-1, sends it out of play. It is full to Bernie. Brody Wynant is on deck in the 5 spot. That's another bat the Kingsmen are hoping to unlock at its full potential as we get closer to May. Final week of April. 3-2 with 1 out. Graham fires. Ground ball third base side. Long run for the third baseman. It's into the outfield. Clark moves to third. It's not an RBI, but it's a base hit for Bernie. Back-to-back singles after 2 walks. Bernie puts runners on the corners for Brody Wynant. And the Kingsmen bats remain hot to start off this week in Lexington. I do believe it's the latest start time for a Kingsmen varsity game this season, with most ABA games being played in the middle of the day, 6 o'clock. A little later than we're accustomed to. There's an inside corner strike. Graham, though he has an out, has allowed all 4 Kingsmen hitters to reach base so far. Corners with 1 away, the 0-1. Wynant takes it. It's off the glove of the catcher into the backstop. Clark comes home standing up. It's 2-0. On the passed ball, Frazier was unable to squeeze the inside fastball. It is 1-1 to Wynant, runner on second with 1 out. P27, if nothing else, trying to have a positive end to this first day after a loss in game 1. 12-0 against Georgia Premier, who the Kingsmen will see later on this week. There's a foul tip strike for Winan, 1 and 2. Kingsmen will play Georgia Premier tomorrow in the first game, prior to the Prospects' 2 games against Ray's Collegiate and ECA. There's a line drive foul. Remains 1 and 2. P27 beaten 12-0 in that first game by the Red Sox. Did not have a hit. One, two. Outside corner strike. Winding down looking. And 2 outs here in the top of the first. So the Kingsmen are going to have an early lead here, but as P27 try to start off this game hot at the plate, I'll try to keep it close. Jack Catron, the hitter with 2 out. Bernie still on second base. Catron, the catcher in this one. Christian Bernie, the third baseman. So no courtesy runner out there on the base paths. First pitch from the lefty. Fastball low. One ball, no strikes from the left-hander to Catron. He hits it out into right field. Racing back Blankenship toward the wall. And he makes the catch with the glove flipped over. That's a nice catch out toward the corner to rob Catron of extra bases. And that concludes the top of the first. Too early for the Kingsmen. And Angel Rari will try to hold the Blacksmiths when we come back. It's the ABA Round Robin here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom one here, Angel Rari on the mound for the Kingsmen. A 2-0 lead. In the first pitch, a foul ball hit into the catcher, Jack Catron. Seth Eckroth is the leadoff man. The second baseman has batted leadoff for most of the games the Kingsmen have seen the P27 Blacksmiths. It's Eckroth and then Munchell. There's a ground ball second base side on the 0-1. It's Thomas to first. One down. Eli Thomas, the second baseman, he's joined in the infield by Harris Clark on the right side, playing first base, and then the left side of second base, Logan Daniel at short, and Christian Burney at third. Outfield, grass outfield here, natural dirt surface here at Colt, just across the street from the Lexington County Blowfish Stadium, home of the P27 Blacksmiths. First pitch to Munchell is fouled off, a check swing foul ball, 0-1. Outfield for the Kingsmen, De La Cruz, McNeil, and Winant. Just outside. Catron tried to bring it into the zone, but called outside by our home plate umpire. It is 1-1. A ball and a strike out of the windup, the Dominican. And another fastball off the plate. Munchell, in the last series between the Blacksmiths and the Kingsmen, did not have a hit in the 2 of the 3 games that were actually played. P27 picking up a win in that series by way of the forfeit. 2-1. Blowing away. 3 balls and 1 strike. It is Munchell, then Nico Knight, Chase Pollock, and Andy Perez, the immediate next few to the plate for the Blacksmiths, trying to put up a couple runs of their own after the Kingsmen grabbed 2 in the top half. 3-1 from Angel. Tapped right back up the middle. It rolled off the mound and into center field. Collected by McNeil. It's a 1-out base hit by Bryce Munchell. It wasn't necessarily the most aggressive hack that you'll see on a 3-1. It almost seemed like he started to slow down the bat as it came through the zone, but he hit it in the perfect spot and got up the middle for a base hit. So he's on first. Rory will work out of the stretch to Nico Knight, one of 2 extra hitters in this P27 order. Blacksmiths have Knight batting in the 3rd spot as Rory fires to first. Catron doing the catching for Angel Rory, making a start here this week. We'll see what the rotation looks like this week with the round robin. 3 games for the varsity team. Outside corner strike, 0-1. Rory comes set. Decent lead at first for Munchell. And that one to the backstop. In the hand of Rory, a little too long. It's a wild pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. No double play opportunity with first base now open. Munchell's in scoring position for the Blacksmiths. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Rory pitched in game 2 of the series when the Kingsmen and P27 did battle at Gardner Webb a few weeks ago. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Inside of the zone, Knight was trying to pull it down the left field line but came up empty. It's strikeout number 1 for Rory, and there are 2 gone here in the bottom of the 1st. Chase Pollock, the designated hitter, batting in the cleanup spot. He steps in right-hand side against Angel with 2 away. Rory fought through some trouble in that second game. The Kingsmen, after a 4-run second, were able to win that ball game by a score of 4-0. Ball 1 low and away. The next 2 hitters gave him some trouble trying to close out that ball game in the 7th, though. Pollock hit a hard line drive out to center to lead off the 7th, and then Andy Perez, who's on deck, put a triple into the gap against Rory. The comeback bid fell short out in Boiling Springs. 1-0. That's high. 2 balls and no strikes. Rory off the mound after that pitch. Top of the second, we'll see Matt De La Cruz, Deacon Curtis, and Eli Thomas. The Kingsmen brought 6 hitters to the plate in the first. It'll be 7, 8, 9. Bottom 3 in the order as we go to the second frame. But Rari trying to keep it scoreless before then on the bottom half of the scoreboard. That's ball 3 outside. A ground out to start the inning, then a ground ball single before the strikeout. Rari has the odds against him here, against the Blacksmiths designated hitter. Catron sets up. Here's the 3-0. And it is a 4-pitch walk as the ball trails low and away. Both teams have had second and first here in this ball game. In the first inning. Kingsmen did so with nobody out after 2 quick walks, but only managed to score one of those 2 runners. Meanwhile, the Blacksmiths trying to see some 2-out production with Andy Perez. He swings at the first pitch, hits it into deep center. Long run for McNeil. He's staring up after it as it hits off the wall. 1 run scores. He fires it in to Eli Thomas. It's a 2-run double for Andy Perez to tie the ball game. Mentioned it just a minute ago. He saw Rari well in his last at-bat against Angel. And now he comes up with a monster fly ball that hit off the base of the fence out there in deep center field. 2-2 the score here in Lexington as Eric Aristi comes to the plate. Not a bad start for the Blacksmiths. He did not score in either game against the Kingsmen in Boiling Springs a couple weeks ago, and now that ball popped up first pitch to shallow center, and that ball is down. The shortstop, second baseman, and center fielder all converged on it, and the play was unable to be made. It's a mistake by the Kingsmen fielders, and it costs them another run. P27 takes the lead here in the bottom of the first. We'll see how that play is scored. Couldn't quite tell from my vantage point if that ball hit off of the glove of any of those 3 fielders or if it landed harmlessly in between them. First pitch in the dirt. Catron will throw down to second. The runner testing him, and the tag not in time. Wild pitch puts Aristi on second. Catron did all he could with that ball in the dirt. It is 1-0. Kingsmen brought 6 to the plate in the top of the first. P27 did 1 better. This is their 7th. Sanchez trying to extend the inning even further. 1-0 pitch. Fastball low for ball number 2. If it is indeed scored as an error, it'll be an unearned run for Rari after the first 2 came in on the Perez double. (2-0), and that rides up and in. 3 balls and no strikes. Rari has fallen behind here against Isaac Sanchez, and P27 threatening to get their 4th base runner on consecutively here in the bottom of the first. Ben Jenkins Jr. on deck if the first continues some more. 3-0. Outside. Both of Rari's walks here in the first have been on 4 pitches and puts runners on second and first with 2 outs. Ben Jenkins in the 8th spot, the center fielder. Batting with runners on and a 1-run lead. First pitch from Angel. Back into the zone, and Jenkins swings through it, 0-1. Despite this being the 8th hitter already for Rory, this will be pitch just number 23. He has worked somewhat efficiently despite the base runners. That is outside, and it is off the glove of Catron, who lunged after it. It is 1-0. Or 1-1, excuse me, as the runners take 90 feet. A long first inning for both of these teams defensively. Rory trying to fight out there on the hill. 1-1. Goes to the inside corner and gets the call to go ahead in the count here with 2 outs. Once again, top of the second, we'll see De La Cruz, then Curtis, then Thomas. 7, 8, 9. McNeil in the top of the order coming up following. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rory with 1 strikeout already in the inning, and he gets number 2 with the breaking ball. First inning over. P27 strikes back, and they lead after 1. It's 3-2. Blacksmiths here. The ABA Round Robin on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Top of the second here in Lexington, South Carolina. I'm Griffin Leonard joining you for Kingsmen Baseball. It's the ABA Round Robin. First year of the ABA. First time this tournament has taken place here in Lexington, South Carolina. There's a ball from Scott Graham against Matt De La Cruz, the Kingsmen 7-hole hitter. A collection of the more northern teams within the ABA have all descended here in Lexington this week. 2 balls and no strikes. The Kingsmen won't play everybody that's here, but at the varsity level, they'll play the 3 other northern varsity level teams. There's a strike at the top of the zone to make it 2-1. Kingsmen will battle ECA and Georgia Premier over the course of this week, in addition to this game against P27. Meanwhile, on the prospect side, ECA also on the calendar. Ray's Collegiate and Georgia Premier are the other opponents. Outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Especially exciting for both teams with postseason seeding on the line. Each one of these 3 games so crucial as they jostle for position just a couple weeks from the tournament. There's a leadoff walk. Back-to-back innings have started with a free pass by Scott Graham. De La Cruz on first and Deacon Curtis to the plate. This week also exciting on the prospect side of things because of some new competition. They'll play ECA's prospect team, who they did play last week, but that was a non-conference game. It'll be the first conference meeting between the two teams. They'll play Ray's Collegiate again, who they've had success with, and then Georgia Premier, as Curtis bunts one foul, 0-1. De La Cruz is hustling to second, but the call was foul, and he'll retreat. Georgia Premier and the Kingsmen have played a couple of times at the varsity level, but have not seen each other at all on the prospect schedule. And what's more, for that game to wrap up the week on Thursday, is that game very well could be for one of the top 2 seeds in the ABA championships. Curtis squares again, 0-1. High, 1 ball and 1 strike. The top 2 seeds in both the varsity and prospect tournaments with huge advantages come the tournament. The top 6 teams get a quote-unquote bye, but it's the 1 and 2 that get to play one of those teams that would have already had a game on that first day of the tournament. There's a strike in there, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Kingsmen varsity team mathematically out of reach of one of those top 2 spots, but the prospect group right there in the thick of the battle. 1 and 2, Curtis still squares. Pulls back on ball 2. Curtis returned last week after missing the start of the season with injury. Still not cleared to throw. He is hitting exclusively for this Kingsman varsity group. He has squared to bunt on all 4 pitches, and this is about to be 5. Graham. And he pulls back and swings away. It's a foul ball. The third baseman, Aristi, was way in on the grass. And he, I'm sure, is happy that Curtis did not pull that 2-2. See how the chess match continues here. Curtis has the bat on his shoulder. 2-2 from the lefty. Runner takes off. It's high. Throw down to second. And the tag is not in time. Frazier with a quick fire throw down to second, but it was not in time to beat De La Cruz, who was hustling. And the Kingsmen, for the second inning in a row, have a runner in scoring position as the count runs full to Curtis. 3-2 to the right-handed hitter. Graham kicks the leg. Outside for a walk. And now for the second straight inning, back-to-back walks to start the frame. That is 4 for Graham in the opening inning plus. Thomas is the Kingsman second baseman today, the last hitter in their starting 9. Caden McNeil is on deck, the top of the order. The bottom of the order so far has gotten 2 base runners on, trying to do their work at the bottom to allow for the heavy hitters to bring them around. Now Thomas squared to bunt. The appeal down to the base umpire says a swing. Preston Hudak in the third base dugout did not like that call, but it is 0-1. That pitch ran inside on Thomas, and he started to square and then got out of the way, but they said that there was an attempt. 0-1. Thomas bunts it foul. 0-2. Eli Thomas, class of 2030 for the Kingsmen. But he has had some hits, including a double here at this field against P27, that non-conference doubleheader that was about 2 months ago. Time has flown by this season, so many moments across the first season of Kingsman Baseball Academy action. The first baseman a few steps in of the dirt. It's 0-2. Thomas keeps the bat on his shoulder, swings away, but swings through the fastball. Strikeout number 2 for Scott Graham, and there's 1 out as McNeil comes to the plate for the second time. That is a big out for Graham and the Blacksmiths. Up 1 run here in the second. Did not allow Thomas to bunt the runners over, and then they get him at the plate. without the runners advancing. Now the corners come in, middle infield stays back with the double play opportunity. McNeil walked and scored on the Harris Clark single. McNeil on the first pitch, he ducks away as that ball runs in and hits him on the lower torso. It's a hit by pitch to load the bases for Logan Daniel here with one out. McNeil has been hit by a pitch a ton this season. They ran it inside on the Kingsmen center fielder. McNeil was hit by a pitch in Game 1 against ECA last week in Goldsboro. That's a ball low to Daniel. That was one of maybe the most unique stat lines for a hitter that I think we've seen all season. McNeil in that game was 2 for 4. As the next pitch to Daniel comes in, it's poked out toward right field. Hooking toward the corner, long run, that ball is fair. Matt De La Cruz comes in. They're trying to send a second. The throw to the plate is in time, and the tag is on Curtis for out number 2. The throw was not perfect from Blankenship, but it brought Matthias Frazier right to the base runner. It's an RBI single for Daniel. McNeil moved to third, and it's corners with 2 away for Harris Clark. They throw over to first and check on Daniel. Harris Clark, his second at bat. The lefty comes home to Clark, and he swings through it. Curtis out at the plate just a moment ago, trying to score the go-ahead run for the Kingsmen. As Clark swings away, runner on the move to second, and they will give him that bag. Daniel into second base. And there are 2 in scoring position. Clark is behind with an 0-2 count. Mentioned it earlier, one of the hottest bats in this Kingsman lineup. Extra base hits coming frequently last week against ECA. Looking for a big 0-2 right here. Graham hits the inside corner, and Harris Clark befuddled at the plate. Strikeout number 3. As the inning ends, the Kingsmen grab 1. We go to the bottom of the second. It is 3-3 here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Bottom two starts with a pop-up back of home plate. Catron watched it as it falls to our left here in the press box. It's 0-1, 3-3 in Lexington as the sun starts to set here in South Carolina. Wind blowing out to left center field. Rory back on the mound for his second inning of work, and the 0-1 sinks in there. He's ahead of Matt Blankenship. Blankenship, the right fielder, had the outfield assist to get Deacon Curtis at the plate midway through that last half inning. 0-2. Two-seamer inside. A lot of run on that two-seam fastball from Rory. The two-seamer and the slider moving in opposite directions. It makes it difficult for the hitter. 1-2. That one maybe making it difficult for Catron as well. Unable to come up with it. It's 2-2. And Catron on his way out to the mound. It's Blankenship, Frazier, and Jones. 9, 10, and 11 for P27. Bottom three in the order. The Blacksmiths using 2 extra hitters. Meanwhile, the Kingsmen batting the traditional 9. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rory out of the windup here to his opening batter. Fastball just high, 3-2. Had the hitter ahead with no balls and 2 strikes. Blankenship has fought back here. The count is full. Matthias Frazier is on deck, the catcher. Swinging left-hand side. Here's the 3-2. That ball popped up third base side of the infield. Bernie called off by Logan Daniel, and Daniel makes the play for the first out of the inning. Rory ran into some 2-out trouble in the bottom of the first. Got 2 ground balls to start the inning, but one of them got through the infield, then struck out the 3-hole hitting Nico Knight. Walked Pollock before Andy Perez hit a 2-run double to the center field fence. Rory with 1 out, pitching to Frazier. Gets the call on the outside corner to make it 0-1. One pitch after the double, there was a pop-up to shallow center, which looked like the end of the inning with the score tied up at 2, as that's outside for ball 1. But the ball was not caught by the Kingsmen middle infielders, and a 3rd run came in to score unearned, so P27 had the lead. Kingsmen grabbed 1 back in the top of the 2nd to bring us to the tied score that we see now, 1-1. Low and away, 2 balls, 1 strike as the lights kick on here in Lexington. P27 needs to get a base runner on to bring the top of the order to the plate once again here in the 2nd. That is inside for ball 3. The Kingsmen, through 2 innings, have brought 12 hitters to the plate. Their first 3 hitters have batted twice in the first 2 frames. It'll be Bernie in the cleanup spot to lead off inning number 2, or rather the 3rd. 3-1 from Rory. Outside corner, same spot as his first called strike. It is 3-2. Mentioned it earlier, Rory pitched in the 2nd game of the doubleheader against the P27 varsity team back at Gardner-Webb a few weeks ago. 3-2. It's hit into shallow left. Coming in on a De La Cruz. He hesitated and he will not get there. It is a single for Frazier with 1 out. That ball was off the end of the bat, but De La Cruz hesitating to make sure he did not end up over his head, and it cost him an opportunity to catch the ball in shallow left field. Here comes Jack Jones with a man on first and 1 out. We'll see a pinch runner here for P27. The courtesy runner for the catcher is Tony Soto, running for Frazier. Soto quickly diving back into first. Left-handed hitter at the plate, Jack Jones, the extra hitter, one of 2 extra hitters. Rory out of the stretch delivers a fastball in the inner half of the zone. That is a strike to go ahead of the lefty. Kingsmen infield today of Bernie, Daniel, Thomas, and Clark. Outfield, De La Cruz, McNeil, and Winan. Looking for a chance to get out of this inning. 0-1. That is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. So far in the ball game, 3 hits for the Blacksmiths and 3 for the Kingsmen. 5 of the 6 hits between the two teams have been singles. The Andy Perez double, the only extra base hit so far. That ball hit a mile high third base side. Daniel over into shallow left makes the catch. He was there as De La Cruz was still coming in. That is the second pop out to the shortstop here in this inning, and there are 2 outs for Seth Eckroth. Rory and the Kingsmen looking to put a 0 up on the scoreboard for the half inning for the first time for either team. So far, we've seen 2 from the Kingsmen in the first. P27 answered with 3, and then the Kingsmen grabbed 1 more in the top of the second to knock things up. Eckroth grounded out to second on 1 hop his first time. There's an outside strike from Rory. He has been good at getting the ball over the plate early in the count against these Blacksmiths hitters. It has helped him keep that pitch count a little bit lower. 0-1. That's hit. Line drive into left. De La Cruz jumps and he makes the catch. He recovered to make the play, and that is an important catch for De La Cruz out in left to keep the run off the board. We go to the third. It's all tied up. It's the ABA round robin right here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. We go to the third. It's all knotted up here in Lexington. 4, 5, and 6 for the Kingsmen. Christian Bernie, the leadoff man. He had a single into the left side of the infield last time. Bernie, Winan, and Catron. First pitch from the lefty. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. That's in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. Bernie was stranded on second at the end of the first inning. That inning saw the Kingsmen take an early lead, but P27 struck right back. It has been a good ball game so far. Both teams ready to play here in the first day of the ABA round robin. Second game for the Blacksmiths looking for their first win. 2-0. inside corner. A called strike to the Kingsman third baseman. Graham working for his third frame, and there's a ground ball third base side and through, nearly identical to Bernie's first single. He is 2 for 2 and has a leadoff hit to start the third. Christian Bernie has really turned it up over the last few weeks on the contact side of things. We saw the power early and often, and he's tied for the team lead on the prospect team in home runs, one of the floaters between the two sides. But he has really started to come through with some important base hits as Winan squares but pulls back, and Scott Graham ended up on his backside after throwing that left-handed pitch. Catcher Frazier is going to walk out there and make sure the lefty is okay. Just didn't get the proper footing throwing that pitch and ended up tumbling over, but he appears to be okay. No need for the coaches to come out as he paces around the mound. This week, the game's not a traditional series, playing a few different opponents. Has a little bit more of a tournament vibe to it. As Winan squares and bunts at third base side, coming in the third baseman Eric Aristi, who goes to first in time, and Bernie moves to second to get into scoring position. Sacrifice bunt for Winan is the first out of the inning. But these games with a little bit more of a tournament feel to them. Of course, the game's important for seeding purposes, but with the tournament just a couple weeks away, certainly the first priority has to be making sure all these players stay healthy for Lake Point here in mid-May. Jack Catron, his second at-bat. Just high of the letters for ball one. He hit a pretty good shot out to right field his last time, but it was tracked down by Matt Blankenship to retire the side and keep a couple more runs off of the Kingsman side of the scoreboard. Christian Bernie out there all alone at second base. He has a decent lead over there, and the left-hand pitch out of the stretch is low for ball two. Griffin Leonard here with you for coverage of the ABA Round Robin. We'll have prospect baseball for you tomorrow. The prospect team had the day off, but we'll play twice tomorrow as Bernie takes off for third. That ball to the backstop. Bernie slid into third, but no need as he now takes a couple of steps toward home and retreats. Christian Bernie 90 feet away from scoring the go-ahead run, and Jack Catron with some wiggle room here at the plate ahead 3-0. Matt De La Cruz, who led off the second, stands on deck waiting for his second at-bat, except that looks like a pinch hitter is set to hit here in the third. Talk about that as soon as this plate appearance is over, and it is with a walk. Dino Catani is going to hit for the Kingsmen in place of De La Cruz. De La Cruz had trouble with a couple of balls in left field this last inning. Out in the field, made a nice catch to end the bottom of the second. But we're going to see a pinch hitter here in the third as the Kingsmen look at a potential change here toward the bottom of the order. They put a power bat in the seventh spot. It's a meeting on the mound for Scott Graham and the P27 Blacksmiths as Catani gets set for his at-bat. Meanwhile, all three Kingsman coaches out to talk to the home plate umpire. I don't believe they're arguing anything, but at least the demeanor of the three did not appear that was the case. The conversation is over. Dino Catani pinch hitting for the Kingsmen in place of De La Cruz. Did not start here in this ball game. It is a left-on-left matchup for Scott Graham. will face the Cincinnati native. First pitch. Catani, outside strike. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Tie ball game here in the third. Here's the 0-1. Catani with a big swing, but it is 0-2.
Come on, babe.
On deck for the Kingsmen, Deacon Curtis. Catani trying to get the job done. The 0-2 is on the outside corner. And that is a looking strikeout to sit down Catani for out number 2. 2 of the 3 Kingsmen strikeouts at the plate today have been looking. And they have both been the second out of the inning with runners in scoring position. Deacon Curtis walked and was out at the plate his last time, trying to give the Kingsmen their second lead. The runner takes off to second. They throw down. They're bringing Bernie to the plate. The call is safe, and there will be no throw home as a result. They tried to get the out at second, but Matt De La Cruz, who is courtesy running for Catron, they took him out of the game at the plate and then immediately put him in the courtesy run. And he steals second base, and the Kingsmen have the lead. De La Cruz on second, and that is outside for a ball. Count is 2-0. After that first pitch had missed the zone with the stolen base. 2-0 swinging for Curtis. It is 2-1. Deacon, the younger brother of Jack Curtis, Kingsman prospect talent, heading to Maine next season. The Kingsman's Division I commits. Curtis a couple of years behind his brother. Plenty of time to develop within the KBA system. 2-1. And Curtis hits a fly ball into center. Playable for Ben Jenkins. And Jenkins has it to end the inning. Kingsmen score a run. It is 4-3 as we go to the bottom of the third here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Bottom of the third, it's 4-3. The Kingsmen grab one more in the top half, and now Rory starting his third inning with a slider that's in there to Bryce Munchell, the P27 shortstop. Rory and the Kingsmen held P27 scoreless in the bottom of the second. Now a foul ball to make it 0-2. 2, 3, and 4 up for the Blacksmiths. 2 of those 3 reached base the first time around. Rory will have his work cut out for him, trying to preserve the Kingsmen lead. 0-2 to his first hitter. Fastball low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. A decent spot on the 0-2 heater. Kingsmen last had the lead in the top of the first, but it was the Blacksmiths that punched back for 3 of their own. 1-2. Line drive right center field into the gap. Long run for McNeil, and he's made the catch. Running it down to deny Munchell a likely triple. Caden McNeil, one of the fastest players in the ABA, he took a perfect route to that fly ball for out number 1. One down for Nico Knight, who struck out swinging, one of 2 strikeouts. Rory registered the first time through the P27 order. Out of the windup, his first pitch. Ground ball to Bernie. Christian has it, goes across the diamond, and the stretch from Clark is good for out number 2. 2 quick outs for the Kingsmen defensively, and that brings Chase Pollock to the plate. Pollock, the designated hitter here in P27's second game of the day after he was the starter in their Game 1 loss to Georgia Premier. Takes that inside corner fastball for a strike. It's 0-1. Ferrari with 2 walks in the first inning. Since that second walk to Sanchez, he has been much improved. He's ahead 0-2. He has retired 7 of the 8 hitters that he has faced since the Isaac Sanchez walk. He is trying to get through this third inning in order against the meat of the P27 order. 0-2 from Angel. Fly ball right field toward the corner. Catani camped and the catch made. 3 up, 3 down. We go to inning number 4 here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Top of the 4th here in Lexington, South Carolina, just west of Columbia. And it's Graham on the mound as Thomas hits a high fly ball, but foul, into the parking lot, narrowly evading a couple of the cars out there. It's a busy day here at the complex adjacent from Lexington County Blowfish Stadium across the street. A couple of youth tournaments going on in addition to this field, the auxiliary field of the ABA round robin. Some games being played at that stadium. The Kingsmen prospect team will have one of their 2 games across the way. tomorrow's Wednesday action. 0-2. Struck out Thomas on 3 pitches. It's the second strikeout for Eli in his first 2 at-bats. And Graham completes his second time through the order with the strikeout. He has 4 here this evening. And here comes McNeil. McNeil yet to register an at-bat. He has walked and he has been hit. He takes the ball outside. McNeil, one of 3 hitters in the Kingsmen order that have reached not all, but both of the first 2 times that they have come to the plate. McNeil trying to make it 3-3. Graham had thrown 70 pitches, that's 71. And he's behind 2-0 to the Kingsmen center fielder. McNeil made a great grab in the bottom of the last inning, running down a fly ball in the deep right center field gap. Had to go a long way for that one. Two balls and no strikes to Caden. Fastball away, 3-0. Logan Daniel is on deck. He is another one of the 3 hitters that has reached both of the first 2 times that he stepped to the plate. A walk and a single for Ferd. 3-0. Low and in. And another plate appearance and another non-at-bat for McNeil, who has increased his on-base percentage in each of the 3 times that he has come up to the plate. He's on first with 1 away. Logan Daniel, the next hitter, as we hit 7 o'clock local time here in Lexington, South Carolina. Thanks for joining us wherever you may be here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. All games here on the Kingsmen YouTube page, archived and available on demand. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. If you missed them last week, you can catch some of the ECA series, including the Kingsmen Prospects team defeating the ECA Premier team in style. Outside, and McNeil, stolen base into second, and that was called a strike, 0-2. If you missed that Kingsmen Prospect win, they played the ECA Bobcats Premier squad on the Bobcats Senior Day. We're down 4-0 entering the top of the 4th. The Kingsmen put up 18 runs in the top of the 4th inning on the Bobcats' best team. That one's in the dirt to make it 1-2. Kingsmen Prospect team got 2 wins up in Goldsboro after they shut out ECA's Prospect team the next day. Kingsmen Varsity group won 2 of 3 against Eastern Carolina Academy. They'll rematch on Thursday here at the varsity level. 1-2 to Logan Daniel. Here's Clark on deck. The left-handed pitch is high and in, ball 2. That win last week was the 2nd win for the Kingsmen against an ABA Premier team. Of course, the Kingsmen do not have a Premier team of their own, but they've gotten a chance in the non-conference schedule to play a couple of various academies' top levels. That is just outside, and it is ball 4.
Let's go! Let's go!
Back-to-back walks for Scott Graham. Harris Clark up with runners on second and first. Just low of the knees, 1 ball and no strikes. McNeil took a big lead on that last pitch at second. Didn't seem to draw much attention from Graham. I wonder if he'll try to get 90 feet away at some point during this at-bat. We've seen him steal a bag already here in this inning. Clark swings away and hits a moonshot toward the P27 bullpen, and it lands in the bullpen, bouncing once before bouncing over the Blacksmiths dugout. It is 1-1. One ball and one strike, one away. McNeil does take off. The ball's outside, and it's off the glove. McNeil slides in, but no throw. Double steal for the Kingsmen, put runners on second and third. And now a big opportunity for Harris Clark, who is 1 for 2 in this ball game, to drive home a couple more runs. The Kingsmen have scored in each of the first 3 innings of this contest. They have the lead. They were able to hold the lead in the bottom of the third and are now trying to expand on it. It is Clark, then Burney, then Wynant. 2-1 from the lefty. Clark takes low and in. 3 balls and 1 strike. Scott Graham in this ball game, despite having some success against the Kingsmen hitters in various spots, he has had trouble at times keeping it over the plate. He has walked 7 hitters in the first 3 1/3. Infield is in for P27. Here is the 3-1 pitch, and it is ripped down the left field line. It hooks fair down the line toward the corner. 2 runs will score. Clark is held to a long single. It is hit number 2 for the Waxhaw Slugger, and it is 6-3 here in the 4th. Both McNeil and Daniel score from second and third respectively. It is a 3-run lead, the largest lead of the game for either team, and it comes here in the top of the 4th, and that will be it for Scott Graham. The Kingsmen see the lefty for 3 1/3, but a couple of big hits knock him out of the ball game. It'll be a new arm for the Blacksmiths here with 1 out in the 4th. We'll be right back with more action from the ABA Round Robin. It's varsity baseball here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. New pitcher on the mound for P27. It's Elijah Flatt, who throws a ball inside to Christian Burney. Burney has 2 singles, one of the gap year guys for this Kingsman team out of St. Petersburg in Florida. And he ducks out of the way of that fastball that runs the count to 2-0. Burney and Wynant, the next 2 up to face Flatt, who relieves Scott Graham. Graham threw 3 1/3. It was the Clark 2-run single that knocked him out of the ball game. 2-0. Burney skies it back of home plate. It is 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bernie playing third base today for the Kingsmen varsity team. And now that's back-to-back foul balls. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the 4th. Kingsmen spending the night tonight in Lexington, then back at it tomorrow for 3 games. The 2-2 grounded third base side, bouncing just wide. Foul ball. And a good thing, too, for Eric Aristi because he mishandled that ground ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes here with 1 out. Kingsmen varsity team will kick off the day. It's a game against Georgia Premier. And the Kingsmen prospect team will face ECA over at the stadium, then come right back over here to Colt. As the runner's on the move, that ball inside and diving in safely, Harris Clark, as the count is full to Bernie. That is the 4th stolen base of the inning. McNeil stole 2nd and 3rd. Daniel took 2nd right behind him on that double steal, and then now Clark gets into scoring position. Prospect team tomorrow taking on ECA and then Ray's Collegiate. Here's the 3-2 from flat. And it is a foul ball to the screen. 2nd lefty in a row for P27. It's no secret that the Kingsmen lack left-handed arms. They do not have a single left-handed arm on this varsity team. P27 has thrown 2 already here in this ballgame. 3 balls and 2 strikes, a full count to Bernie with Brody Winant on deck. And Bernie steps out. Kingsmen have taken 2 of 3 at the varsity level their last 2 weeks. Clark a huge lead off a 2nd. Bernie chases the fastball. And they get Burns for out number 2. Both out so far here in the 4th, coming via the strikeout. Prospect team enjoying this ball game so far. They're supporting their fellow Kingsman Brody Winant. Swings through a fastball 0-1.
Nobody cares. Work harder.
0-1 from flat with 2 outs. Swing and a miss.
Yo, what's this kid?
Jack Catron will hit if Winant can reach for the first time. He had a sacrifice bunt to move the runners over his last time to the plate. He's behind 0-2 here with 2 outs. Clark takes off for 3rd, and Winant rips a foul ball. Clark got an exceptional jump, but he'll have to retreat. Winant had no choice but to swing at that 0-2 that was around plenty of the zone. In the bottom of the 4th, it'll be Perez, Aristi, and Sanchez, 5, 6, and 7 for the Blacksmiths, currently down 3 runs. 0-2, just low, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
The whole game, you know what happens?
Left on right matchup, platoon advantage for the right fielder Winant. The 1-2. Foul tip, strike 3. He is caught to end the frame. Kingsmen find a way to grab 2 more. They continue to put up runs in every frame. We head to the bottom of the 4th. It's a 3-run lead for the Gold and Black right here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom 4, Rory going out for his 4th inning of work. He has pitched recently in a couple of longer starts. This one, another. He throws a first pitch ball low of the zone to Andy Perez, working through the order for the 2nd time. It's Perez, Varsity, and Sanchez, all of whom reached their first times around. There's a foul ball hit fly to the right side, 1-1. Perez has been the thorn in the side of Angel Rory in the the last couple of battles between the two. Perez hit a double that was hit way out to the deepest part of the ballpark, straightaway center. Hit the base of the wall over the head of McNeil last time up. There's a ball outside, ball 2. That brought in 2 of the 3 P27 runs. Rory gave up 3 runs in the first, 2 of which were earned. Since then, he has shut the door on the Blacksmiths. There's a chopper, third base side. Bernie fields it coming down, throws to first, and the call is safe. Infield hit for Perez. Bernie did well to get it on the down hop rather than waiting for it to bounce back up to him. But even so, Perez, hustling down the line after seeing the high chopper, finds a way to leg out the 90, and it is a leadoff base hit against Rory for the first time in this ballgame. First 3 innings, he had retired the leadoff man. Perez reaches and Varsity comes up with 1 out, or rather no one out, and 1 aboard. First pitch fastball just south of the knees at 1-0. Varsity had that pop up to shallow center, the error assessed to the Kingsmen defense that allowed that 3rd run to come in. Rory throws to first, but no tag needed as Perez is back in there without too much of a problem. So Varisty's 0 for 1. He has a couple of nice plays at the hot corner, playing 3rd today for the Blacksmiths. There's a ground ball, second base side, the dive for Thomas, knocks it down, and he goes to first in time for the out. Excellent recovery for Eli Thomas, who was going the opposite direction. Planted his feet and then sprawled out to keep the ball on the dirt. And it's the first out here in the 4th as Perez moves to 2nd. They throw to 2nd. Safe the call. Oh boy, that was close. The Kingsmen have been so good at executing some of these pickoffs this season. They went nearly immediately to try and get Perez at 2nd. They nearly had it, and now a slider. Not getting the call on the outside corner to Isaac Sanchez. Encouragement from the dugout, trying to help Rory through this 4th. 1-0. Back to the fastball, and it's outside. The Kingsmen have scored the last 4 runs unanswered after P27 took a 3-2 lead in the first. Rory taking a second for an equipment adjustment here in the bottom of the 4th. Good time to remind you that the Kingsmen Corner is a weekly podcast on all things Kingsmen baseball. Join myself and Coach Joe Hudak as well as a guest every week for the latest around the KBA. 2-0. Outside, 3 balls and no strikes. Most recent episode coming out yesterday. Talked to both Coach Joe Hudak and his son Preston Hudak. Got to catch up with both of them as both the prospect and the varsity team near their trips to Lake Point, the first ever ABA championships. The Kingsmen wanting to give it a good go at snagging the titles. 3-0. Just high. Didn't get it at the top of the zone. And a walk to put runners on 2nd and 1st. It's the 2nd time Sanchez has walked in this ballgame. Time called. Here comes Coach Joe Hudak. And rather than being accompanied by his smartphone, he'll be accompanied by Israel Classe to do the translate. Quick conversation between Coach Hudak and Rory. Classe, as we've seen him do this season, has helped out with the language barrier. Tie and run at the plate here in the bottom of the fourth. P27 looking for their first runs since the first. Rory going to stay on the mound to face Ben Jenkins, who he struck out to end the first inning. Rory nearly made it an entire way through the order without walking a man. He walked Isaac Sanchez the first time, then was able to get through the entire rest of the order, but facing Sanchez for the second time, he dealt a free pass once more. So here comes Jenkins. Swung through strike three his last time, as runners on second and first. There's a big block by Catron, 1-0 with one away. 3-run game in the fifth. The Kingsmen will bring Catron, Catani, and Curtis. Triple C's coming up for the Kingsmen in the fifth. One ball and no strikes. Outside and by Catron. The slider got away, and now both runners move into scoring position.
Let's go!
When the Kingsmen played here in Lexington about a month and a half ago, those games were very close. There's a swing and a miss, 2-1. Jenkins had the green light ahead in the count, but could not come up with a base hit. Two balls and one strike. The pitch from Angel. Ground ball to Bernie. They send the runner to the plate. Bernie takes the out. Now they go back to third. The tag. Got him! It's a double play. The run comes in to score as he crossed the plate before that out. But the inning is over. The run scores to make it 6-4. The Kingsman defense does the rest. And we head to the fifth. Run counts. And it's a 2-run game here in Lexington. We'll be right back on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Here in the fifth, it's Jack Catron leading off, takes a ball that looks pretty good from back here. Elijah Flatt back on the mound after coming in for Scott Graham. Angel Rari threw 4 on the other side of the ball. 1-0. Catron swings through the fastball at the top of the zone. It is 1-1. Catron, Catani, Curtis, 6, 7, and 8. Two balls and one strike. That one to the backstop. Nobody on, so it'll be the on-deck hitter of Dino Catani that comes and retrieves it. Inside of the zone, 3 balls and 1 strike. And another swing and a miss. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Interested to see how the Kingsmen and P27 for that matter as well, but how the majority of teams here manage their pitching over the course of this round robin. 3-2, just off the plate. It's a leadoff walk. It's no secret that when we get to Lake Point in a couple of weeks, all of these teams are going to be stretched on the pitching side of things. The potential to maybe play for the Kingsmen, who have 2 teams, the 2 teams combined could play upwards of 10 games over the course of those 4 days, depending on how far their runs respectively go in the bracket, how long they can stay in the winner's side. But interested to see how all of these teams manage their pitching, considering that. 1 ball and no strikes. Dino Catani came in for Matt De La Cruz in the 3rd inning of this ball game. Struck out looking in his lone at bat. He was ahead in the count here, 1-0 from the left-hander. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Two-0. Fly ball foul, third base side. Here at Roscoe Fry Field here in Lexington. Just across the street from the main field being used in the ABA round robin. Kingsmen varsity team will play all 3 of their games here at the auxiliary field across the street. Runner on the move, throw down to second, tag, they've got him. It was De La Cruz as the courtesy runner, and he is picked off. One out, bases empty now for Catani. And that is high for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Deacon Curtis is on deck, bottom half of the order up for the Kingsmen, who had the leadoff man on in their quest to continue to score in every inning, but that now seems a bit more difficult. There's a foul ball into the mitt of Frazier. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three-two. High for ball 4. It's another walk. That is the 3rd inning out of 5 that the inning has started with back-to-back walks. It is the 4th inning that we have seen back-to-back walks at some point over the course of the frame. P27 has the benefit of that first walk being negated by the out on the base pass. Here's Deacon Curtis with a man on first and 1 out. He takes a strike. 0-1. Inside, backed up Curtis a little bit. One ball and one strike. Into the oven mitt of Frazier, but high for ball 2. Foul tip, strike 2. Curtis wanted more of that one than he got. There's a parking lot beyond the field, and that kind of serves as target practice, I guess, for some of the Kingsmen hitters. You know, something to shoot for out there. And I think there's not a car out there that they want to hit more than that hot pink SUV cruising along right center field right now. But Curtis swings through it. They go down to second, and it's a stolen base for Dino Catani as Curtis goes down for out number 2. Bottom of the order, Eli Thomas trying to get his day started at the plate. He made a beautiful diving stop at second base earlier defensively to get an out. But he has not been able to find much production with the bat in his hand, at least not so far this evening. 7:30 local here in Lexington. We've been playing for a little under an hour and 45. Got a little bit of an early start today, prior to 6 o'clock. 1 ball and 1 strike. One. Outside corner strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. In the bottom of the 5th. It's the bottom 3 in the P27 order. Blankenship, Frazier, Jones. See if they face Rari or a bullpen arm, as Angel is through 4 as the Kingsmen starting pitcher. 2-run game here in Lexington. Here is the 1-2 to Eli Thomas. Runner on the move. He chops it foul toward the P27 dugout. To the foul ball, another 1-2 pitch coming. The left-hander Elijah Flatt in relief of Scott Graham. He has done well so far. Here's 1-2. Runs inside, and Thomas spikes the bat. Lost him with 2 strikes on him. It's the first time Thomas has reached, and that completes 3 times through the order in 5 innings. Caden McNeil will come to the plate for the 4th time around.
Okay, let's go, babe.
Second and first, 2 gone for McNeil. First pitch to Caden. Low and away, 4-1. McNeil is 0 for 0 today. He has walked twice and been hit by a pitch. He has not registered an at-bat yet through 3 trips. He is ahead of the count here, 1-0. Trying to drive in Catani at second. Thomas behind him at first. Inside, and McNeil nearly got beamed for the 2nd time in 4. It is 2-0. Logan Daniel, who has also reached all 3 trips to the plate, stands on deck. The 2 of them are combined 1 for 1 with 4 walks. Here's a pop-up, first base side. Running over to it is Sanchez. And Sanchez makes the catch. just inside the fence. It was out of your view. It was nearly out of mine. But McNeil retired. The inning is over without a run for the first time in the round robin. We go to the bottom of the fifth. It's the Kingsmen Baseball Network right here with more action when we come back. Angel Rari is back out there for the fifth, folks, as he starts off. Matt Blankenship with the strike. It's the first time in a Kingsman uniform that Rari has gotten through 4 here in this start. He is flying. Just misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. He got Blankenship to pop out to Logan Daniel his last time to the plate. Trying to preserve this Kingsman lead. It is a 2-run ball game here in Lexington. Nips the outside corner with that one. It's 1-2. Just 2 strikeouts for Angel, but he has gotten weak contact. 1-2. And a strikeout. There's 3. Hits the zone, and Blankenship unable to come up with contact. He goes down swinging on 4 pitches, and it's Angel's third as Matthias Frazier comes to the plate next. A back and forth ball game here in Lexington. The Kingsmen with runners on in the 5th, but did not score. They did not have a hit in that inning. There's the first pitch, foul ball over the third base side bleachers. Well out of play, 0-1. The Kingsmen looking to outpace Georgia Premier this week if they're to grab the 5 seed instead of the 6 seed in the ABA Varsity Championship. 1 ball and 1 strike now. Georgia Premier split today, beating P27, but then dropping their game to ECA. It's an outside corner strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. ECA beat them handily in the game on this field just before this one kicked off. The Kingsmen and Georgia Premier battle tomorrow. There's a foul ball. Both Kingsmen versus Georgia Premier games, both levels, with some severe seeding implications. The teams jostling for position as the tournament looms. 1-2. Inside and a hit. Frazier on the leg. That one did not sound fun from up here. But Frazier wears it, and now the tying run to the plate with 1 out in the 5th. And Frazier, after wearing the fastball, will jog to the bench to rest his legs and strap on the pads. Tony Soto running once more for the Blacksmiths. That's a ball here with 1 out. Tying run at the plate, bottom of the order, Jack Jones. And now a foul ball hit to the right side. Time called by our home plate umpire here. A 2-run ball game. P27 scored last inning against Rari. That run coming in on what ended up being a double play. It was a ground ball hit to Christian Burney, and he went to first instead of to the plate. 1-1. Ground ball down the first base line, but foul. 1-2. It was a ground ball hit to Christian Burney. He went across the diamond to Clark. The runner came in from third, and there was a runner on second who waited until Burney had completed the throw before he tried to take off and grab an extra 90 feet. Clark, quick thinking, threw back to third base, and they got him at third base as well. 2-2 now. So the Kingsmen used those outs to get out of the fourth, though the run did come in to score. And now the tying run is at the plate. Jack Jones is 0 for 1. Seth Eckroth 0 for 2. The top of the order on deck. 2-2 from Angel. Fly ball, shallow center. Back on it goes Thomas. In comes Kaden McNeil. McNeil has the catch, and the runner sprints back to first. That is close at the first base bag. And the ball got away from Clark but stayed in play. Catron was there to back it up. A little lackadaisical from Tony Soda, who was about halfway to second and then jogged back into first and nearly got doubled up by McNeil, who didn't initially realize that that was a possibility. And I think if he had come up throwing and fired accurately, this inning would have been over. Instead, Seth Eckroth comes to the plate as the tying run. Had a hard line out to left field that was caught by Matt De La Cruz to end the second, his last time to the plate. Quick throw over to first. The Kingsmen looking for their 5th win against P27 at the varsity level this season. They have lost 3 times against the Blacksmiths. P27 trying to tie up the season series here in the regular season. There's a flare shot to the shortstop. Daniel jumps and makes the catch. And the inning is over. We go to the 6th. It remains close. The Kingsmen back to the plate. 2-3-4 when we come back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. We go to the 6th here. 2-run ball game. Logan Daniels squared the bunt on the first pitch, but took it for a ball. Flat back out there for his second full inning of work after coming in midway through the 4th and then finishing out the 5th. P27 bullpen is active. They have 2 arms going at once down the line. Foul tip, strike 1. Daniel even in the count. Left-hander flat. The brother of a P27 alum that now is playing professional ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes, as that's on the outside half of the zone. Daniel, 2 walks and a base hit. He's behind in the count, though, here with nobody out. The breaking ball had a ton of break to it. Out of the hand, that looked like it might have been heading to the backstop. But it ended up high of the zone, but not by a whole lot. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2. And that fastball high and off the glove of Frazier. Harris Clark retrieves the ball behind the plate. He has 2 hits today. One of 2 Kingsmen to have multiple hits in the ball game. 3-2. And a foul ball. Daniel fighting hard. He drew a very long plate appearance, I guess, rather, without it being an at-bat. His first time up, 8 or 9 pitches before drawing the walk and getting on base in that first. Trying to force Flat to miss again here. It is 3-2. The lefty comes home. And the ball is hit out into right. In on it comes Blankenship, and he makes the catch coming in. The second baseman, Eckroth, sprawling out, trying to get out of the way. And it's out number 1. Harris Clark, 2 for 3, 2 singles and a strikeout. Trying to kickstart the 6th inning. Pitch from the lefty. Hit in the air. Right center. Eckroth called off by the outfielders who come in, and it is Blankenship who has his second in a row. 2 outs on 2 pitches. Flat trying to get through this 6th and keep this a 2-run ball game. He'll have to deal with Christian Burney, who was the first hitter to see Flat. Flat struck him out. But Burney in the ball game has 2 hits. Time called. The Kingsmen, despite the production and despite having 8 of their 9 hitters having reached base at some point in this ball game, have struggled in the hit column. There's a strike at the top of the zone, 0-1. Logan Daniel, Harris Clark, and Christian Burney all have hits in this ball game. Clark and Burney have 2 apiece. But those are the only 5 hits that the Kingsmen have in this ball game. McNeil and then the 5 at the bottom of the order for the Kingsmen do not have one, as Burney unleashes one into the parking lot. But it is way foul. He hit that over a couple of the cars down the line. If only we were playing cricket. 0-2. And he strikes out on the outside corner. I've heard that said once or twice. A long foul home run never ends well. And Burney sees the next one on the outside corner. We head to the bottom of the 6th. It's a 2-run ball game here in Lexington. P27 tries to chip back into the lead when we come back as Nemo Barnes heads to the mound in relief of Rory. Bottom 6, it's a new arm on the mound for the Kingsmen. Nemo Barnes throws the first pitch inside to Bryce Munchell. It is 2, 3, and 4 for P27. Rari faced him in the third in that same order as that ball is hit out to left field, hooking toward the corner. Long run for Catani, and it lands foul, but in play. Catani ran out of room, or rather ran out of time, and it is a long foul ball, 1-1. Munchell appears shaken up after that swing. See if he's all right to stay in the ball game. Second pitcher for the Kingsmen, Angel Rari, deserves a massive bit of appreciation for the effort he put on the mound today. 5 innings for the Kingsmen. He is in line for the win if Barnes can lock him down the rest of the way. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Munchell, Knight, and Pollock with 3 up to the plate in the 6th for the home team. 1-2. Outside corner. Dropped it in there with the spinner. Munchell goes down looking, and Barnes starts it off with about the best that you can ask for. 1 down, bottom 6. The Kingsmen now 5 outs away from a win to open up the ABA round robin. Playing against the hosts here in game number 1. Went back to the breaking ball outside half, but missed just off the plate. It's 1-0 to Nico Knight. Knight was 0 for 2 against Angel, a ground out to the third baseman, and a strikeout swinging. 1-0. Hooked line drive, first base side and foul. Going to be interesting to see what the day looks like for the Kingsmen tomorrow. We're going to hope for some quick baseball games because the varsity team playing at, I believe it is 11:45, and the prospect team playing on another field at 2:30. I doubt they're going to wait for me to get over there to start the proceedings, so we will hope for a quick varsity game and a quick prospect game as that ball chopped to the second base side. Thomas fields it up over his head and then throws on a hop, and it is by Clark. They throw it back to first and they'll put the tag on, but safe is the call from the first base umpire. It's an error on Eli Thomas as Nico Knight reaches and the tying run comes to the plate. And as we were saying, the prospect team playing back-to-back games tomorrow, but on 2 different fields, they will obviously have time to reset. They will have time to reset and get ready for game number 2. But you would hope that they will have enough time not to feel rushed. It'll be Kason Young and Micah Irving starting the 2 games tomorrow for the Kingsmen. 2 games against 2 teams that they have done very well against so far this year. That's an inside corner strike. Meanwhile, the Kingsmen varsity team plays Georgia Premier at 11:45. 2-2 against the Red Sox this season. They beat them in East Cobb and then took 1 of 3 in Statesboro. 2 balls and a strike, that's outside. The game tomorrow will be for the regular season series. That's a Georgia Premier team the Kingsmen are neck and neck with in the standings. 2-1 is the count. Barnes slide step, swing and a miss. Blew by Pollock with the upstairs fastball, and it is 2-2. Andy Perez is on deck. And if you can get Pollock to get 2 outs on the board before facing P27's hottest hitter, it would be much appreciated. 2-2. It's in the dirt, and it gets by Catron. 90 feet for Nico Knight.
Vamos, campeão!
3-2. High for a ball. It is a walk to put the tying runs aboard for Andy Perez here in the 6th.
Go, Andy, let's go, babe, let's go, babe! Vamos, Andy!
That is Nico Knight over at second, and then Pollock right behind him at first. First pitch to Perez, outside corner. A good one from Barnes, one of the best locations on a fastball we've seen early on in this relief appearance to start off Perez. See what Nemo is made of out of the bullpen. He's gotten through some huge situations on the mound for the Kingsmen this season. 0-1. Inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Out of Bowling Green, Ohio. Nemo Barnes, a 2027 pitcher and first baseman. We'll see if he gets a start at some point this week. But today, he is coming out of the pen. 1-1. Breaking ball just outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's Perez, then Eric Aristi. After Perez, it is 4 straight hitters that do not yet have a hit in this ball game. But Perez is the one that Barnes has to deal with right now. He is 2 for 2. 2-1. High for ball 3. Barnes came in for Rari, who was through 5. Struck out his first hitter. Got a ground ball to his second, but it was an error by Eli Thomas. Pollock walked, and now Perez has 3 balls. Here's the 3-1 out of the stretch. Swing and a miss. Perez tried to send that one to Irmo. Instead, it's 3-2. So 3-2, Barnes going to take an extra second. This could be the biggest pitch of this game so far. Second and first, 1 out, tying runs aboard to Perez. Barnes stares down second a couple of times, comes home. Fly ball, right center field. Long run for McNeil toward the gap. Dives! Did he make that catch? They say no. McNeil had it in his glove. But safe, the call from the base umpire, who is now being tagged in by... I've never seen that before. Out comes a new umpire in a different color. So the first base umpire, I guess, going to hustle off to the parking lot before Coach Hudak has a chance to talk about that call. There's a first pitch fly ball into center. Here comes McNeil. He's got it. Runner tagging. Throw comes to the plate. It is in front of Catron and knocked down, but knocked down off to the left side, and both runners get 90 feet. Sack fly, Eric Aristi. It is a 1-run game, and Jack Catron, unable to keep the ball in front of him, now puts the tie-and run 90 feet away, and the go-ahead at second right behind him. They appeal to third, and out is the call on appeal. Wow! They appealed to third, asking if Nico Knight left early, and the umpire says yes. A game-changing call. We head to the 7th. It stays 6-4, and we will be right back for the 7th inning. An explanation of what just transpired when we come back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. To the 7th inning we go. One more to decide the victor of this one. Quite the ending to the bottom of the 6th. There was a fly ball out to center. McNeil caught it and threw home, and it looked like a sacrifice fly that would have made it a one-run game as Wynant swings through the 0-1 to make it 0-2. The Kingsmen, after resetting their defense, went back to third on appeal, and P27 was rung up for the runner leaving too early. Nico Knight called out on appeal at third. Wynant pokes the 0-2 up the middle. Shortstop knocks it down but does not have a play. Munchell was over to it, but it took a tough hop when it hit the lip between the grass and the infield dirt. That is a leadoff single for Brody Wynant. The Kingsmen up 2 runs here in the top of the 7th. It is 6-4. Looking for some insurance as we reach the closing moments of this ball game. Catron squaring to bunt. The left-hander comes home. And Catron gets it down in front of home plate. The third baseman comes over, floats it to first in time. Second sacrifice bunt today by the Kingsmen. The first was by Wynant. And Wynant this time moves up to second as Catron bunts him over. Runner on second, 1 down for Dino Catani, who the last time against Elijah Flatt walked and was stranded at second base. Flatt, the left-hander, in relief of Scott Graham, who threw the first 3 1/3 of this ball game. 2 runs the difference here in Lexington. First pitch to Dino. Catani takes it just outside. Still unsure of why we got an umpire switch during the last inning. We were talking about the call out in center when McNeil had dove but trapped the ball as the runner started to take off for third, but Wynant puts on the brakes. 1-1 as the fastball was in there for a called strike. And as we're talking about McNeil attempting to catch that ball and the base umpire being the one to make that call, he jogged off the field and was swiftly replaced. I don't think I've ever seen that before for a non-injury related reason, at least. Time called by Dino. Catani came in the 7th spot the second time through the order in replacement of Matt De La Cruz, who has served as the courtesy runner since coming out of left field and out of the hitting lineup. Now the runner is on the move. Throw down to third is a good one, but it's dropped by Aristi. Tough to ask for a much better throw from that from Frazier. It short-hopped Varsity by just a couple of inches, but Varsity could not keep it in the webbing, and it's a stolen base for Winan. 1-2 after the Catani swing and a miss, and now he takes a fastball just low for ball 2. Final regular season meeting at either the prospect or the varsity levels between these two Carolina rivals. Plenty of good battles between these two teams here in the KBA's first season. Catani takes a fastball on the outside half of the zone. That looked like it had a decent amount of the plate, and it is out number 2. Deacon Curtis takes ball 1 with 2 away. Curtis is 0 for 2, a walk, a fly out, and a strikeout. Still getting adjusted to being back full time. He missed a significant part of the first part of the spring, just coming back last week. That is in there, 1-1.
She's more than right.
She is. See if Nemo Barnes comes back out for the 7th. He faced 5 batters in the 6th, 3 of which reached, though one of them was on an error. Gave up 1 hit and 1 walk. 1-1 to Curtis. Swing and a miss. 1-2. It is 7, 8, and 9 in the bottom of the 7th for P27. Sanchez, Jenkins, and Blankenship. Here's Curtis. 1-2. Flying away. The roars that you're hearing immediately after these pitches are from the Kingsmen prospect team. Loving what they're seeing from Curtis in the box. They want to see Curtis pick up his first Kingsman RBI here with the man on third. 2-2. High for ball 3. If another hitter comes, it'll be Eli Thomas in the 9 spot. He is swinging on deck, and he awaits to see if he will get an at-bat here in the 7th as the count is run full to Curtis. The applause starts and the pitch comes. Inside ball 4. Corners with 2 away. Eli Thomas the next to hit. He was hit by a pitch his last time, the only time that he has reached. Time has been called, and a pinch runner coming in. And this is an interesting one. Normally you see a courtesy runner come in for either the pitcher or the catcher. Here in this circumstance, the Kingsmen are going to sub in a pinch runner for their designated hitter, and it is the pitcher who is going to do the running. Nemo Barnes is the pinch runner. That's in the dirt. Runner come to the plate. Winan scores standing up. Frazier could not keep it in front of him. And it is 7-4 here in the 7th. Right-handed hitter at the plate. Eli Thomas has a man on second base to Nemo Barnes. And 2 outs here, a 3-run ball game. The pitch from Flack. That off-speed dipped in there outside edge. It is 1-1. The Kingsmen will now look to hold a 3-run lead in the game's final inning, looking for a win to kickstart the ABA round robin. Swing and a miss, Thomas, 1-2. Once again, it'll be Sanchez, Jenkins, and Blankenship. 7, 8, 9, then it would be Frazier and Jones, the bottom 2 in the order. P27 will need to see some hitters come up in the 7th if they are to mount a rally. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Thomas with McNeil on deck. And the 2-strike pitch just missed. flat, took 3 steps off the mound, but did not get the call. It looked pretty good on the outside corner, but Thomas took it for ball 2. See if Nemo Barnes comes out to close or if a new arm enters for the 7th. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Thomas retired. The Kingsmen through 7 complete 4 trips through the batting order. They score 7 runs, and they take a 3-run lead into the bottom of the 7th, where we will crown a winner when we return. It's ABA Round Robin Baseball on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. We have reached the end game here in Lexington. Bottom 7, Nemo Barnes back out to try to get the final 3 outs. He gets a pop-up foul that Catron chased to the fence line, but it escapes out of play, and it is 0-1 to Isaac Sanchez. Isaac Sanchez in the ball game has not registered an at-bat. That changes now. He grounds it to Daniel, who has trouble, throws to first. It's not in time. An error on the shortstop starts this 7th inning. It was a ground ball to the backhand side of Daniel, who had trouble getting it out of the glove. It popped into the air for just a second, and that was all the time Sanchez needed to get on base. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Ben Jenkins grounded into that unorthodox double play his last time. 5-3-5. It's one that you practice on the field, but you don't see too often in the game. The throw from third to first, and the first baseman goes right back to the third base bag, but you practice it for a reason. Jenkins is 0 for 2, and the count is 0-2 here with nobody out. Slide step, low and away. One-two outside corner. Ring him up, strike 3. 1 away here in the 7th. And the Kingsmen in the stands, they absolutely love it. One down. They have been vocal today, both teams traveling together. And the one out to support the other. The Kingsmen down the first base line on their feet right now, cheering on Nemo Barnes and the Kingsmen as they try to wrap up this crucial conference game to open up the round robin tournament. Blankenship swings through the first pitch. It is 0-1. Runner on first. P27 needs a couple more to have a shot at coming back. That ball just low of the knees. It is 1-1. The Kingsmen scored 1 run in the 7th on a wild pitch. A run that could be an important insurance run. 1-1. High for ball 2. The Kingsmen can get out of this inning and get out of this game without the top of the order coming up. If they can get 2 of Blankenship, Frazier, and Jones to wrap up this ball game. Back standing up goes Sanchez, a little closer than most would have preferred. If the top of the order does come back around, that will mean that the tying run is aboard for Seth Eckroth. P27 trying to flip it over. 2-1 in the zone with the fastball. Lights on, moon up top of the sky here in Lexington, South Carolina. In one of the later games that we've had all season. The cool air surrounding the ballpark here in the 7th. 2-2 pitch outside for ball 3. Blankenship is 0 for 2 with a pop out and a strikeout. But if he can draw a walk, he will be just happy with that as Matthias Frazier waits on deck. 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 at the letters. And the noise comes back, first base side. 2 down. Back-to-back looking strikeouts for Nehemiah Barnes. He has 3. In the 2 innings, he has pitched all 3 with the bat on the hitter's shoulder. Matthias Frazier has reached both times he's been to the plate. He needs to reach once again if P27 is to come back and win this ball game. That is an outside corner strike with the fastball to go ahead 0-1. This has been a heck of a season with the Kingsmen battling P27 as that fastball clips the corner to make it 0-2. The Kingsmen lead the season series 4-3 and try to wrap it up in style with Nehemiah Barnes on the mound against Frazier. Jack Jones stands on deck hoping for an opportunity. Here's the 0-2. Just missed the corner. The noise comes back. Barnes shakes off twice. He has his sign. And the 1-2 pitch. In the dirt, blocked by K-Trent. Frazier has a single and a hit by pitch in this ball game, both off of Rory. Here's the 2-2, and it is fouled off. Frazier seeing Nehemiah Barnes for the first time in the ball game. Two balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. 3-run ball game in Lexington. The pitch. Backdoor breaking ball. Kingsmen win the ball game. Three strikeouts in a row from Nehemiah Barnes and the Kingsmen as they dig deep to win a tight one. And an absolute thriller between the Kingsmen and the Blacksmiths of P27 concludes to wrap up day 1 of the 2026 ABA Round Robin. Final score 7-4. Angel Rari gets the win, throwing 5. And it's Nemo Barnes that picks up the save. Back and forth affair with fireworks on both sides, but it's the Kingsmen who outlast their Carolina competition to secure the victory. We'd like to thank you for joining us here this evening from Lexington, South Carolina, wherever you call home. Thanks for joining us here in Kingsman Country with today's 7-inning back-and-forth win. The Kingsmen defeat P27 7-4. We will see you tomorrow for 3 games, and it all kicks off with varsity ball against Georgia Premier. I'm Griffin Leonard saying so long from Lexington, 7-4 final. We'll be back tomorrow with more here on the Kingsman Baseball Network.